Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lynn. Namaskar. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Bangladesh's Supreme Court scraps the job quota system, puts in place a new one where total reservations amount to 7%. Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli faces a floor test as Nepal looks for stability among parties amid musical chairs. Indian Prime Minister Modi to address UNESCO World Heritage Committee meeting that starts in New Delhi from today. Archaeologists, culture ministers and experts to attend. The Bangladesh Supreme Court has abolished the job quota system, which was reinstated by the High Court, following which unrest had erupted in the country. The country's Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's government had scrapped the quota system, in fact, in 2018, but the lower court had reinstated it last month. In government jobs, Bangladesh had a quota system in which 30% of the jobs were reserved for family members of Mukti Yodha, that's freedom fighters of the 1971 war. However, after a brief agitation, the government abolished that system in 2018, and following an appeal from freedom fighter families, the High Court then reinstated the previous quota system in the month of June, which triggered agitations. And today, the Supreme Court of Bangladesh has dropped the judgment of the High Court and modified the quota. 93% of all the jobs will be for people on merit, and 5% will be reserved for freedom fighter families, 2% for others. The court also appealed to students to go back home after this, and the court said that its modification is from the side of the judiciary. The government should take its own decision. Meanwhile, the Indian Border Security Force has helped in the safe evacuation of Indian students amid these protests in Bangladesh. Many Indian and Nepalese as well as Bhutanese students, they are studying in various education institutions in Bangladesh, and they are being sent back to their respective countries. The Border Security Force of South Bengal Frontier has set up special help desks to facilitate the safe return of these students. So far, the BSF has successfully assisted in the return of 572 Indian students, 133 Nepalese students and 4 Bhutanese students. In view of the ongoing protests in Bangladesh, the US State Department on Saturday raised its travel advisory to level 4. The State Department also said that it has authorized the voluntary departure of non-emergency US government employees and family members in Bangladesh. A day earlier, the department had urged people to reconsider travel to the country. The Nepalese Prime Minister Prasar Bharati has eyeing a two-third majority, in fact. This is as the votes for confidence, the vote of confidence is taking place in the parliament today. And during the ongoing discussion on the floor test, the Speaker of the House of Representatives of Nepal, Devraj Ghimire, is providing MPs of all the parties with an opportunity to share their views. As required by the Constitution, the newly appointed Prime Minister should take a vote of confidence from the Parliament within 30 days of the appointment. And KP Sharma Oli is the leader of Nepal's Communist Party, and he was sworn in as the Prime Minister of the Himalayan nation on the 14th of July. On the same day, the then Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachanda had failed to attain a vote of confidence from the House of Representatives, with only 63 votes cast in his favor. And on Sunday, the Prime Minister Oli requires 138 votes in the 275-member House to win this vote of confidence. The Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, has thanked the Argentinian President Javier Milei for designating Hamas as a terrorist organization.
Thank you, Argentina. Thank you, President Javier Milei, for designating Hamas as a terrorist organization. This is another sign of your friendship to Israel and your commitment to the truth. Thank you, Javier.
The Israel Defense Forces on Sunday said that their air defenses have intercepted a surface-to-air missile, a surface-to-surface missile, which was launched from Yemen on Sunday. And Yemen's Iran-aligned Houthi movement said that it had fired several missiles at the Israeli Red Sea city of Eilat. The attack prolonged an escalation of violence between Israel and the Houthis that began on Friday when the Yemeni group launched a drone that hit the center of Tel Aviv, killing one man and wounding 4 others. Israel warplanes carried out an air raid near Yemen's Hodeidah airport, or in fact port, on Saturday. This is in response, hitting what Israel said were Houthi military targets. 6 people were killed and 80 others were injured in this attack. This is what the medical sources in Yemen have said. Now, the Israeli military says that its Arrow 3 missile defense system had shot down the projectile launched from Yemen on Sunday before it crossed into Israeli territory. Before the interception, air raid sirens had sounded in Eilat, sending residents running for shelter.
The Houthis' attacks are acts of aggression, a violation of international law, and a threat to the international peace and security. Today, Israel stepped up its actions in self-defense against these attacks. The Israeli Air Force conducted precise strikes on Houthi military targets in Yemen. The military target was the El Hudaydah port, used by the Houthis as a main supply route for the transfer of Iranian weapons from Iran to Yemen, like the UAV itself that was used in the attack on Friday morning.
Israel's defense forces released a video showing strikes on Hezbollah weapons storage facilities in southern Lebanon. The Israeli strikes late on Saturday targeted a depot storing ammunition belonging to the Lebanese armed group Hezbollah. The strikes on the town of Adlan, which was about 40 kilometers north of Lebanon's border with Israel, set off a string of loud explosions heard by witnesses across the region. And according to sources, at least 4 civilians in Adlan, they were wounded in these strikes. And Sarah Coates now joins us from Tel Aviv with more on these stories. Sarah, what does the strike on Yemen signal?
Hello there, Mark. It signals a new phase of this war, a widening of this conflict, which could further destabilise this region. Now, we've heard from Saudi's foreign ministry saying it's watching these developments with great concern, urging both the Houthis and Israel to act with maximum restraint. Now, in response to this Israeli attack on the port of Hodeidah, we've heard from the Houthis. They've come out to say that they will not let this latest attack go unanswered. Now, you mentioned these events early this morning, that surface-to-surface missile shot by the Houthis in Yemen toward the Red Sea city of Eilat. Air raid sirens were triggered, with the military saying that while it did intercept this missile with an Arrow 3 air defense system, it was worried that there may actually be shrapnel falling, which is why these red alert sirens were activated in Eilat. Now, of course, all of this began in the very early hours of Friday morning when the Houthis shot this drone into Tel Aviv. It was only a few hundred meters from where I'm standing now, an extremely loud boom at around 3 o'clock in the morning, killing one man in his 50s, injuring a number of other people when this drone slammed into a residential apartment block right near the US Embassy. So certainly very, very concerning. As I mentioned, a fairly major escalation, and an escalation that partners right around the region are watching with great concern, Mark.
Yes, Sarah, also what's the latest on Israel's northern border?
Well, Well, Mark, these tit-for-tat cross-border strikes are just continuing. A fire has broken out in the last hour or so at a school in northern Israel, the result of a number of rockets hitting a structure, seeing this blaze break out. Now, Israel has also been striking what it's calling Hezbollah targets in southern Lebanon. These are things like weapons storage facilities. And this tit-for-tat escalation is only continuing really on a daily basis, escalating on a daily basis. Yesterday, Hezbollah sent a number of explosive-laden drones from southern Lebanon into Israeli territory. These ones into the Golan Heights on the border with Syria. We do know that a number of Israeli soldiers were injured in this attack. So this, of course, is extremely worrying, and this is why we've been seeing the US President Biden sending a number of his top envoys for this shuttle diplomacy over these past few weeks, really trying to diffuse this situation amid real fear that if this tit-for-tat escalation between Israel and Hezbollah continues, that it could in fact spiral into a larger regional war which could draw in Iran. So certainly very worrying, and I've been up there pretty much all last week. These communities in the north, they are largely evacuated. We're talking some 60,000 Israelis on that side of the border, some 90,000 Lebanese on the other side of this border, and it certainly is a very worrying situation when you're up there on the ground, Mark.
Sarah Coates in Tel Aviv, thanks very much. In the latest updates on the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict, Russia said its army destroyed Ukrainian tanks, armed vehicles as well as cannons on Saturday. The Russian Defense Ministry said the army repelled multiple offensives in the directions of Kharkiv, Avdiivka, Donetsk, Zaporizhia and Kherson, and also launched a number of attacks along with the disruption of Ukrainian drones, while Ukraine claimed that it had repulsed Russian offensives. This is on the front line. What's happened is that the general staff of the Ukrainian armed forces have said that the Ukrainian soldiers are going all out to stop the Russians and their assaults, and also to disrupt their action plan. Tensions continue between Taiwan and China. Fears are growing that the US could get pulled into a possible conflict against Beijing that could test the country's cyber defenses. The American officials have warned of ongoing threats to US critical infrastructure from hackers linked to China. DD India's Ira Spitzer reports from San Francisco.
Inside computer networks, cybersecurity threats are lurking. For nations, threats to critical infrastructure like transportation and energy are a major security risk.
So if an adversary can identify and map out critical infrastructures, that can be used, again, as part of a targeting campaign and give them an advantage.
The U.S. believes China is doing just that. Government agencies, including the NSA and FBI, have assessed that Chinese state-sponsored hackers are seeking to pre-position themselves on IT networks for disruptive or destructive cyber attacks against U.S. critical infrastructure in the event of a major crisis or conflict with the U.S. China has dismissed those allegations as baseless. U.S. officials have also warned the cyber threat extends beyond the country's borders.
Our concern has always been that this actor will reach out to other places, particularly U.S. allies or places where U.S. troops are stationed.
Earlier this month, Australia accused Chinese-linked hackers of targeting networks within the country. Those accusations were backed by allies including the U.S., the UK, South Korea, and Japan.
While there may be consensus that this is a major threat, combating it is more difficult, given the complications of overhauling computer networks.
We know what needs to be done. The question is, do we have the political will, the social will, and certainly the financial will to implement the necessary countermeasures?
A recent Supreme Court ruling may make things more difficult. It reduced federal agencies' ability to craft regulations on issues like cybersecurity, meaning it may now be up to Congress to advance legislation to shore up U.S. cyber defenses. Ira Spitzer in San Francisco for DD India.
Now, still to come here on DD India Live. North Korea again floats balloons carrying trash towards South Korea. India's government holds an all-party meeting ahead of the budget session of Parliament in Delhi. The legendary tennis star Leander Paes and also Vijay Amritraj, they create history by becoming the first Asian men to be inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame. As the world gears up for the biggest sporting extravaganza, Olympics 2024, we at DD India are all set to bring you reports, reactions, and all the latest action from Ground Zero. Watch DD India's super exclusive show, Cheer for Bharat. Only on DD India from July the 22nd at 6:30 p.m. IST, 1 p.m. GMT. Get ready to cheer for Indian athletes at the Paris Olympics 2024. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Mark Lynn. North Korea has again started floating balloons carrying trash towards South Korea, and the South's military has declared that it would respond with full-scale loudspeaker broadcasts. The Cold War-style psychological battle between the two Koreas is adding to already high tensions on the Korean peninsula, with the rivals threatening stronger steps against each other and warning of devastating consequences. The South Korean military said the North's actions, raising tensions near the heavily armed border, could have fatal consequences. They also said that the North Korean regime would be solely responsible. The U.S. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump, alongside his running mate Senator J.D. Vance, took the stage at a rally on Saturday. This was Trump's first public rally since the July 13 assassination attempt against him. Addressing the crowd with a flesh-colored bandage covering his right ear, Trump, in fact, dismissed allegations about his involvement in Project 2025, calling them misinformation.
I don't know what the hell it is. It's Project 25. He's involved in Project, and then they read some of the things, and they are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme. But I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it. But what they do is misinformation and disinformation, and they keep saying, he's a threat to democracy. I'm saying, what the hell did I do for democracy? Last week, I took a bullet for democracy. What did I do against democracy? Crazy.
And Donald Trump's vice presidential pick, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, has criticized the U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris. He did so at that rally.
The Vice President, Kamala Harris, she doesn't like me. Kamala Harris said something to the effect that I have no loyalty to this country. Well, I don't know, Kamala. I did serve in the United States Marine Corps and build a business. What the hell have you done? What has she done other than collect a check from her political offices? And we have to give her credit, my friends. She did serve as border czar during the biggest disaster open border that we've ever had in this country. Let's get President Trump back there.
In an interview to Fox News on Saturday, Donald Trump said that nobody had forewarned him of a problem in the lead-up to the former president's rally in Pennsylvania last week.
Nobody said there was a problem, and I would have waited for 15. They could have said, let's wait for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 5 minutes, something. Nobody said, I think that was a mistake. How did somebody get on that roof, and why wasn't he reported? Because people saw that he was on the roof. I mean, you had Trumpers screaming, the woman in the red in the red shirt, she was screaming, "There's a man on the roof." And then other people said, "There's a man on the roof who's got a gun." And that was quite a bit before I walked onto the stage.
The Indian government has convened an all-party meeting ahead of the budget session of Parliament in Delhi today. And during this meeting, the government sought the cooperation from all political parties to ensure the smooth functioning of both houses of Parliament. Union Ministers Rajnath Singh, Kiren Rijiju, Arjun Ram Meghwal, JP Nadda, Chirag Paswan, Ramdas Athavale, and the Congress leaders Jairam Ramesh, Gaurav Gogoi, the NCP leader Praful Patel, the DMK leaders T.R. Balu and Tiruchi Siva, the Aam Aadmi Party leader Sanjay Singh, AIMIM MP Asauddin Owaisi were among those who attended this meeting. Speaking to the media after the meeting, India's Parliamentary Affairs Minister Rijiju said that there was consensus by all parties on the running of the House smoothly in the forthcoming budget session of Parliament.
पार्लियामेंट को सुचारू रूप से चलाना ये सरकार में जो है उनका भी जिम्मेदारी है और विपक्ष में जो सदस्य है उनका भी जिम्मेदारी है। हम मिल करके अच्छी तरह से बजट सेशन को चलाएंगे, ऐसा हमारा अपील है। और सबका मेंबर्स का बहुत सारा विषय इन्होंने सजेशन किया है, हम उसका सेंस को समझते हुए राज्यसभा में आदरणीय चेयरमैन और लोकसभा में आदरणीय स्पीकर दोनों से चर्चा करके बिजनेस एडवाइजरी कमेटी के बैठक में हम इसको आगे कैसे ले जाना है, आगे चर्चा करेंगे।
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the 46th session of the World Heritage Committee at the Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi on Sunday. The Prime Minister will address the gathering on the occasion. The meeting will be attended by more than 2,000 delegates from over 150 countries. In a post on X, Prime Minister said, "This event is an important forum to exchange views on ways to preserve heritage. It's a matter of immense joy that India is hosting the meeting of the World Heritage Committee in New Delhi. This is the first time that our nation is hosting this committee." So the 46th UNESCO World Heritage Committee meeting is taking place in New Delhi from the 21st of July to the 31st of July. And it's going to witness archaeologists, culture ministers from across the world who are descending on the national capital in India. This prestigious event is being held at the Bharat Mandapam. It brings together, as we said, delegates from around the world. They are discussing and deliberating on preservation of cultural and natural heritage sites. Debyendu Mondal reports.
The 46th UNESCO World Heritage Committee meeting is set to unfold in the heart of India's capital, New Delhi. This committee meeting is a cornerstone event where experts and delegates from around the globe converge to evaluate the state of existing World Heritage sites and consider new nominations. It is a significant gathering uniting nations in their shared commitment to preserving humanity's most treasured cultural and natural heritage. The process is rigorous, involving detailed assessments and reviews to ensure that only sites of outstanding universal value make it to the prestigious list. In this session, the committee will examine the dossiers of 28 sites proposed for inscription on the World Heritage List. The sites will be examined according to category, natural, mixed and cultural.
इस बैठक में जो अब तक साइट्स ऐसी चुनी गई हैं जिनके बारे में मैंने आपसे निवेदन किया, उनके अपकीप, मेंटेनेंस, रखरखाव के बारे में तो चर्चा होगी, उनका फर्दर इवैल्यूएशन होगा ही। जहां कमी रही है वहां उसे अलर्ट करने की दिशा में भी अलर्ट्स भी इशू किए जाएंगे, लेकिन साथ साथ ही जो नए डोजियर समिट हुए हैं उनकी समीक्षा होकर के नई ऐतिहासिक वैश्विक धरोहरों को जो है सूचीबद्ध करने का काम भी इस बैठक में होने वाला है।
India proudly boasts 40 UNESCO World Heritage sites, each telling a unique story of our rich history and natural splendor. From the majestic Taj Mahal in Agra, the architectural marvel of Hampi in Karnataka to the serene Sundarbans National Park in West Bengal. These sites are a testament to India's diverse heritage. This time, India has nominated the Moidams, the mound burial system of the Ahom dynasty of Assam, to be inscribed into the prestigious list. UNESCO World Heritage Sites represent the pinnacle of cultural and natural heritage. The first World Heritage Sites were designated in 1978, and since then, the list has grown to include over 1,100 sites globally. However, to get to this list is a meticulous process, followed by rigorous evaluation by expert advisory bodies. Each site should demonstrate outstanding universal value, integrity, and authenticity. The final decision rests with the World Heritage Committee during its annual meeting. Dibyendu Mondal's report for DD India.
Well, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi took to the platform X on Sunday to congratulate the Indian team for securing 4 gold and 1 silver medal at the just concluded International Maths Olympiad in Bath in the United Kingdom. And he said, "It's a matter of immense joy and pride that India has come forth in its best ever performance in the International Maths Olympiad. Our contingent has brought home 4 golds and 1 silver medal. This feat will inspire several other youngsters and help make mathematics even more popular." Let's get to the sports news now, and the former doubles world #1 Leander Paes, the tennis broadcaster, actor and former legendary player Vijay Amritraj have become the first Asian men to be inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame. Paes remains the only Indian till date to win an Olympic medal in tennis back in 1996 in Atlanta. Paes won 19 Grand Slam titles from 1999 to 2015, combining men's doubles and mixed doubles. Amritraj played from 1970 and won 15 ATP singles titles and 399 matches and was ranked as high as 18th in the world at one time. He also helped India to the Davis Cup finals both in 1974 and again in 1987. India beat the United Arab Emirates by 78 runs in a Group A clash of the Women's T20 Asia Cup in Dambulla on Sunday. India scored 201 for the loss of 5 wickets. In response, the UAE could manage 123 runs for the loss of 7 wickets in the stipulated 20 overs. With this, the Indian team has firmly inched towards the semi-finals. Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India Live. Let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. And, you can get all the news on the go as well on the DD India mobile app. It's available on Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code and download it. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. My name is Mark Lin. From all of us here, thank you very much for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.